So a pleasant good morning to our citizens of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Matnik. Good morning again and greetings to the TLA, so members of the TAMCC Community College, or lecturers at the Lecturers Association. Special greetings to the National Executive and our teachers throughout the length and breadth of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Matnik, and to all those who are listening to this special press conference that is brought by the Grenada Union of Teachers to brief you on outstanding and critical matters dealing with the TAMCC and the T. Marisho Community College and our lecturers at TAMCC. So we want to greet you, and at this special time to wish you good tidings. We know that this season is a special season, a joyous season, the Christmas time. When we have peace, we have, goodwill and everything towards the nation. So we want to wish the nation, wish our teachers, wish the lecturers, TAMCC and everyone throughout the length and breadth of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Matnik, and also remembering the TLA members from Carriacou and Petit Matnik who have been affected by Hurricane Beryl and such. So we stand in solidarity with you, and we know that we want to wish all of you a happy and enjoyable Christmas and God's blessings for the new year. And with me with this press conference this morning, I have here Sister Antonia Kadu from the TLA. So, Sister Antonia, just introduce yourself.
Pleasant morning, everyone. I'm Antonia Kadu. I'm a lecturer at TAMCC and also the secretary at the TLA. Good morning again to everyone and season's greeting.
So thank you very much, Sister Antonia. So we want you to stand strong and shoulder to shoulder with me. As we said, this special press conference have been called to brief the nation and to keep you updated with things that have been happening from TAMCC that is affecting the lecturers at T. Marisho Community College. And so one of it, we have two main outstanding matters here to present to you this morning to update you. One deals with negotiations, so we're going to give you a historical perspective of negotiations and what is happening with negotiations now with TAMCC. And also, we're going to brief you on other grievance matter that are affecting an employer, or worker, or lecturer at TAMCC, and that has been happening and took place over a year now, and Sister Kadu is going to brief you on this matter. So I'll just take it here and to go back now to a historical perspective on the collective bargaining agreement and negotiations with TAMCC. To let the citizens of Grenada know that the Grenada Union of Teachers is the official and legal bargaining agent for negotiations, for collective bargaining activities and such representation, not only for the teachers in the public schools, for the primary and secondary schools, but the Grenada Union of Teachers also represent the lecturers, the TLA, at TAMCC. So we are a legitimate body, a legitimate union for representation. Now, historically, the TAMCC Lecturers Association have been struggling for some years in terms of our salary increases. We take note of that situation in 2022, when for about 10 or 12 years, almost 12 years, that the lecturers were struggling to get an increase and they did not get it. We took industrial action basically at the closing end of the NNP administration in TAMCC at the college. Those of you, the public, could remember when the TLA together with the GUT took industrial action for bread and butter issues for all these years that the lecturers did not receive any sort of just compensation. So the election took place and such, and the matter continues with the new administration, the NDC administration. And it was under the NDC administration, although the industrial actions took place or started with the previous NNP administration, under the new NDC administration, the lecturers were able to receive 22% salary increases. But the 22% salary increases, it just sounds sort of big, because you might think, if you're not paying attention, that it was just for 2 years or 3 years. but it was for a period of almost 10 to 12 years. All right, so that's what I said. For a long period of time, they did not receive any salary increases. So the new administration, the new NDC administration, paid 22% salary increases to the lecturers. We had to take this matter to the Ministry of Labor. We had to protest and quite a number of different things under the previous administration, but the new NDC administration settled the matter, you may say, rather quickly, and the lecturer did receive for a long time 22% salary increases for that period spanning 12 years. After 2022, we went into a new contractual arrangement, bargaining arrangement, negotiations again for the period 2023 to 2025. So after this 2022 increases and payment, and that wasn't a negotiation period of a contractual period, but it happened that time because the lecturers did not receive and other workers at TAMCC did not receive any increases for a period of 10 to 12 years. And then after, as we said, in 2023, the Grenada Union of Teachers went into negotiations, you may say, with the government of Grenada, keeping in mind that the GUT is the bargaining agent, not only for teachers, as we said, in the public schools, but also the TLA, the lecturers at TAMCC. And in principle, whatever increases, salary increases that the Grenada Union of Teachers got for its members, like in the primary and secondary school, in principle, the TLA or the lecturers at TAMCC receive the same increase. So it was one negotiation, not two different negotiations. The GUT negotiated one negotiations with the government for both the teachers in the public school and also the TLA. And that's the reason that we said here, in that contractual obligation and negotiations, after it was concluded in 2023 for the period 2023, 2024, and 2025, at that time, the GUT and the government of Grenada agreed to a 13% salary increases. 13% salary increases span the 3 years, 2023, 2024, and 2025. 4% salary increases for 2023, 4% salary increases for 2024, and 5% salary increases for 2025. So I just reminding the public. The 4% for 2023, the teachers, both in the public schools, the primary and secondary school teachers, received the 4% increases for 2023. The lecturers at TAMCC, one negotiation, the lecturers at TAMCC received the 4% salary increases for 2023. For 2024, January of 2024, the teachers, again in the public school, primary and secondary school, they received the 4% increases for 2024. The lecturers at TAMCC received the 4% salary increases for 2024. In 2025, the teachers at the public school level again, primary and secondary school and other members received the 5% salary increases for 2025, for the period 2025. However, we are almost ending the year, and for some strange reason, that the lecturers at TAMCC did not receive that 5% salary increases. For somehow, there seems to be some resistance from TAMCC, from the management of TAMCC, council, and probably the Ministry of Education at the minister level in terms of the hesitancy in paying the 5% salary increases for 2025 to the lecturers. And so we remind you again that the 4% were paid for the teachers, all teachers in the public school, the 2023. It was paid again in 2024. It was paid for the period 2025 with one collective bargaining agreement. And as you see there is precedent set for the lecturers at TAMCC. Precedence has been set for one negotiation, all right? At that time, we were not negotiating separately with TAMCC or with council or with government for the TLA. because we never had a separate, a distinct CBE. So it is only the resistance now that we have seen almost 1 year coming. The year is ending for 2025, and the lecturers at TAMCC, although they are working and working hard, have not received the 5%, and so it becomes a grievance matter. The duty of always and every press conference that we have on other avenues and places, whether it's in TAMCC, the administration, or council, or wherever, to the Ministry of Education, we have always advocated for the lecturers at TAMCC to receive their 5% for 2025. So we're saying that to give you a sort of historical perspective. So although now that the Grenada Union of Teachers is still the legitimate bargaining agent for the lecturers at TAMCC, TAMCC, whether council or the Ministry of Education, Minister of Education, representing government, has advocated for a separate collective bargaining agreement for the lecturers at TAMCC, which is different from that of the Grenada Union of Teachers for our members in terms of the primary and the secondary school. So let me just take it again. Historically, the Grenada Union of Teachers had one negotiation. There was never before a separate negotiation for TAMCC for the lecturers with GUT, and then one for the teachers at the public school in terms of primary school and secondary school teachers. Whatever the GUT gets for the teachers at the public school, the primary and secondary school, the TLA gets the same thing, or the same amount in percentage, as was proven. Precedents have been set. However, recently, about a year or two ago, the council, management from the TLA, the Minister for Education and against government, reiterated that they wanted a separate negotiation, a separate collective bargaining agreement to that of the primary school for GUT and the secondary schools and teachers in the public domain. So as we see, and we can say to prove it, we have two separate negotiations going on now. One finished already and concluded for the TLA with council and with TAMCC. And so that is different to what is ongoing now in terms of with GUT now, with government negotiating team. However, where we're having some problem, the GUT has prepared this document for the CBA a long time ago. Right? Even so, you may say that has been going on for 2 years in the preparation. And now negotiations have started and concluded. It took a very, very long time, although council wanted a separate CBA, all right, for the lecturers at TAMCC. We prepared the document and everything. There were only notice and everything. They went through it and such. And then in honest, negotiations started for the Grenada Union of Teachers in February. All right, February of 2025. So while we are negotiating, the PW on the other hand is also negotiating, because that is what the TAMCC said they wanted, separate and distinct CBAs for both GUT and PW. So PW is in negotiations with, you may say, council, with TAMCC, just at the same time. For GUT and PW for the workers at TAMCC. All right, so we're just briefing you and we're going slow so that you would understand what is taking place. However, what the TMRSO Community College tried to do, they tried to link the negotiations and to tie in, for some strange reason, 2025 with 2026, 2027, and 2028. When we really and truly should be negotiating for a 3-year contractual period. That's what we always do with government and GUT. And in unions, most unions, 3-year contractual period. So 2025 should not be tied in with 2026, 2027, and 2028. And of course, the GUT did not submit any CBA together with the TLA, including 2025. Because we know, with precedents have been set, that we cannot tie in in a negotiations 2025 with 2026, 2027, and 2028 because there was a signed collective bargaining agreement negotiated for the period 2023, 2024, and 2025. So the GUT have always of the opinion and stated clearly to council, to TAMCC, all right, basically administration, and even to the Minister for Education that there is a no-no there for 2025 in terms of linking it to 26, 27, and 28. Because what we're saying is that the 2025 salary payment 5% increase for the lecturers at TAMCC is more or less 12 months late. 12 months late, right? It should have been paid on January 1 of 2025. And now we are in negotiations, are concluded negotiation for a new collective bargaining agreement period for the period 2026, 2027, and 2028. So what you are seeing here is like 2025 now, coming in now, when the council or TAMCC of the government should have already paid the 5% to the lecturers of TAMCC for 2025. It has not been done as yet, and there was some resistance for some reason to pay it. And we argued that and such for more than a year now when we recognized that there was some resistance for the money to be paid. So the 5%, to be clear, for 2025 should have been paid 12 months ago to the lecturers of TAMCC. And the language we should have been speaking now is not about 2025, but is about 2026, 2027, and 2028. And that is where we find ourselves. So before I go any further, I just want to appeal to TAMCC administrators, to council, to the Minister for Education and the government of Grenada to really and truly show some goodwill. All right, we're hearing that the 5% for 2025 would be paid. All right, but we're asking that the 5% for 2025 to be paid and to be paid urgently, to be paid quickly in the sense, and to show some goodwill so that we can move past this 2025 debacle. There was no reason for that to be coming now and tying itself now with a new collective bargaining agreement for 2026, 2027, and 2028. So we're saying now is the Christmas season, now is the Christmas tide, now it's time for goodwill and everything like that. So, and we want peace and everything to reign in our nation at this Christmas time. And so we're asking you, and so to government, council, administration of TAMCC, to let some goodwill prevail and to share the love and to share a little money so that the lecturers of TAMCC can also enjoy Christmas too in goodwill like everybody else. And that's what we're asking for. And let that be a separate issue. This issue for 2025 should not be a contentious issue because it is signed, sealed, and now all we're waiting for is for it to be delivered. All right? Separately. So now, as we said that, I'm going to go now to what is happening with the negotiations, the state of negotiations for the period 2026 to 2028. So we have negotiated and we started negotiations in, as we said, February of 2025. Where we at now, we have concluded negotiations with the council negotiating team. So the Grenada Union of Teachers have a negotiating team for this new collective bargaining period because as I say to the nation, I'm saying to you, this is a different negotiation. This negotiation that we have now with the Grenada Union of Teachers and with TAMCC negotiating team on the behalf of the government of Grenada, Ministry of Education and the Minister for Education, that's the first time that is happening. That's the first time. Remember, as I said, as GUT, we always negotiated in one. And whatever we negotiated for our teachers in the public schools, we negotiated also for the lecturers so they get the same thing. Now, the authorities, whether the authorities be council, whether the authorities be the administration of TAMCC, or whether it be the Ministry of Education or government, wanted a separate and distinct CBA collective bargaining agreement for the lecturers at TAMCC. And that's for the first time we are engaging. We prepared our document and such, and we started negotiations in earnest in February of 2025. Not for the period 2025, because that has been sealed and left alone already. What we are negotiated for and what we have negotiated for, anything in this new CBA is for 2026, 2027, and 2028. And we have negotiated for a long time. In fact, that's the longest negotiations that have ever taken place, and we never really brought out anything to the nation. We never brought out anything to the nation in terms of the negotiations and what was happening and such, because we felt that it was around the table. But we're bringing it to the public now because it seems right about now there is some grievance matter, that there is some mistrust and breakdown in the negotiations when the negotiations were completed in earnest. So we have for the first time for TAMCC, for the TLA, a new collective fringe benefit package, right, that we, the duty, have negotiated for the first time for the lecturers at TAMCC. The lecturers at TAMCC only got the salary increases when we negotiated with the government of Grenada before. Now, this time around, separate and distinct, only for the lecturers at TAMCC in these negotiations, for the first time, the lecturers at TAMCC will be having a separate and new fringe benefit package. So fringe benefit is other things that you negotiated for in addition to salary, the salary component or salary increases. All right, so we asking now that is basically we have a memorandum of understanding that it came to conclusion and everything like that. So on the behalf of TAMCC negotiating team, council, and the Grenada Union of Teachers, all right, we asking now for council and the government of Grenada, the Minister for Education, which we negotiate in good faith and in balance with compromise on both sides, give and take, because that's what negotiation is about. And we were sort of shocked in the sense that the GOT thought that when the negotiation was taking place, that the principal or the authorities who the TAMCC negotiating team should have gone to or should be going to get the guidance and everything like that. So now that we finished negotiating and we put together in conclusion and a sort of framework and agreement with a memorandum of understanding that this document now should just go to council and then go to cabinet, you may say for cabinet to really and truly approve. In other words, seal the deal. All right, so we thought, whatever we had in the document, that was our understanding, that whatever we have in the document agreed upon by both sides, that the council negotiating team or TAMCC negotiating team were going through the proper authorities and all those things to get it okay. So when they come back and they tell you, well, okay, you get this, or you get that, or you get the other, those things were sealed once you put it in the document and such. And it's only after the conclusion of the negotiation now that negotiation has basically come to an end between the Grenada Union of Teachers and TAMCC, all right, council, government negotiating team. Now you hear now a different story that the higher authorities or principal on the government side did not know anything about it or approve certain things. And it means, it brings mistrust, it means a breakdown and such, and it's a shock to the Grenada Union of Teachers. It's a shock to the lecturers at TAMCC. Can you imagine the disarray, the mistrust, the confusion, the chaos around this good tidings season of Christmas, that is happening there? The workers are shocked. We are shocked. We are disappointed because we never thought that this thing will, go down, you may say, in disarray. When the negotiations around the table, even if we had our, is give and take, it was a good one. So we thought that it started in peace and everything like that. So, and we are confident in spite of everything in give and take for nation building and everything's sake that we came to a wonderful conclusion. That's how we thought. We came to a wonderful conclusion, taking into consideration everything, a negotiation and a document that TAMCC will be proud of, that Council will be proud of, that the Minister for Education and Government will be proud of, the lecturers will be proud of, and the GOT will be proud of. So instead of being proud now, we end up being shocked off. And that's the situation there. Instead of being proud of, we kind of shock in the sense of that when we hearing a different story now that the authorities higher level did not know and such, and we in a situation you know, that's where we are. That's where we are with this negotiation. So we're asking for the government of Grenada, we're asking for council, we're asking for the Minister for Education and the higher authorities to really intervene, because there is some level of breakdown, there is some level of mistrust and such, and where do we go from there in a wonderful, well-balanced document that we have, and both sides in give and take with this negotiation, and we never expected the table to turn and to turn so quickly in another direction when the GOT and the TLA really and truly give and take and such. We take into consideration everything in every argument from council, from both sides, and we give a balance. And what we get now in terms of was in good faith in the sense, and it ending up for us now in bad faith in the sense, and a kind of shocker for us in what is happening. So we asking and we calling upon the higher authorities of government to intervene in this matter and to really and truly intervene quickly to bring it back to where it's supposed to be, because for us, the negotiation have been really and truly ended, and such as have been a little memorandum of understanding, and the workers were celebrating, other persons from government, from council negotiating team, one high and also celebrating in the sense, and we thought now it was just the date for signing. That's how we really thought. It was the date for signing, and we celebrating because we were saying for the first time, the lecturers at TAMCC have a fringe benefit package that they never had before. All right, so, and it's a good thing for the government of Grenada. It is a good thing for council. It is a good thing for the administration of TAMCC. It is a good thing for the lecturers. It is a good thing for the Grenada Union of Teachers. When you look back for the first time under this administration, so it's under this administration that is happening. In the sense, so I want to go back to say, it was under this administration, the NDC administration, who started off well, by which the 22% for the lecturers were paid. It is under this administration, NDC administration, that the 4% for 2023 were paid. It is under this administration that the 4% for 2024 were paid. And so how it starts, and it starts nice, keep it flowing wonderful, and let it be under this NDC administration that the 5% for 2025 for the lecturers of the TAMCC should be paid. And I will say will be paid and has to be paid. And then let's go forward now with a new collective bargaining agreement that the both TAMCC, GOT, Council, lecturers, Government of Grenada, Minister for Education, Ministry of Education should be very well proud of. You know, that document that we have secured for the very, very first time. So that is where we are, and we want to see this press conference today is to draw attention to it, and we ask the government to really and truly to move fast, move quickly to settle 2025. Let's get ahead of things and to settle this dispute, and don't allow it to go down the drain and to drag in all sorts of directions. And we're calling on them for Christmas. Christmas is a time of goodwill to really and truly move quickly. To, if I'm the government of Grenada or council, by tomorrow morning or this evening, checks for 2025 should reach in the TLA, the lecturers' bank account and such, and let's settle 2025 and such, and go forward with the new agreement for collective bargaining agreement for 2026, 2027, and 2028. And among these things, remember, we say it's a proud moment for the government of Grenada, it's a proud moment for the lecturers, it's a proud moment for TAMCC. Pension is for the first time. There's some wonderful package in this collective bargaining agreement for lecturers of TAMCC, and I guess from the PW side, for them in this collective bargaining agreement for the first time under the NDC administration to let's not allow this thing to go down the drain. It's an opportunity for everybody, all parties, to celebrate and such and to be proud of. So for the first time, because what the lecturers had, they didn't have no pension, and they were due based on the act of TAMCC, they should have had a pension from since. And what they had is a retirement savings plan that I don't know what to say because it wasn't a retirement savings plan. Some people were in it, others were in it, some people getting money, some persons weren't getting and such. And that was something that was signed and ratified when in 2013, or what the case may be. So it was a real problem there. So the government of Grenada coming on board now and stream with this new pension, contributory pension scheme, is something worthy to celebrate for everybody and for council, for lecturers and such. That we said there are good things in the CBA there for government to be proud of. And in January, based on the agreement, from January 1, the contributory pension scheme and this new pension for the lecturers of TAMCC and workers at TAMCC should be started in earnest. So if the 5% for 2025 is not paid, and then 2026 percentage coming into it, together with increments, then there would be some problem there because you need to factor in, you need to do the calculations and to factor in 2025, 2026, and the increments that have not been paid and other things to make sure that you do the correct calculations. So whatever deductions have to be for the 3% matching from government to thing or the 6%, it has to be done properly. And there is something in the agreement there that by January 1, because remember, there are other statutory bodies that started under this pension scheme already. The lecturers are behind, and they were behind for a long time because they weren't really getting any pension. They weren't getting any pension. So it's a proud thing for all of us, for GUT, for the lecturers, for government of Grenada. Can you imagine the administration? It is in their hands and its council hand. How proud they will be. How proud they will be when they sign out and endorse this new CBA so that they could celebrate and to tell the nation and the whole world that for the first time, the lecturers of TAMCC and the other workers under PW are having a new pension, all right? New pension, just as workers and teachers and public officers receive the 1958 pension, and there were other persons who weren't getting. But for the first time in this agreement, under the GUT, together with council, together with the Ministry of Education, with the government of Grenada, a new package there for pension. Let's work hard, let's put things together, and let's get it going and celebrate together. So I'll turn you on now to Sister Kadu to deal with a second matter there, a grievance matter. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. On April 16, 2024, my colleague, Mr. Laurie Caliste, was accused of breaching CXC's examination policy. It's a serious grievance matter. The college proceeded to take action against Mr. Caliste. However, the college, in so doing, failed to provide an updated syllabus to Mr. Caliste. Mr. Caliste conducted his annual internal assessment for CXC, as is a custom. The score from this exam normally forwards to CXC as an SBA score. Had Mr. Caliste been provided by the college with the updated syllabus, since CXC had revised the syllabus and implemented a standard SBA for accounting, he would not have proceeded with an examination. Nevertheless, Mr. Caliste administered the exam, he graded the exam, and proceeded to provide feedback as is customary for an SBA. In the process of doing so, he was called to the office of his supervisor. He was then accused of committing or breaching the examination policy of CXC. The college proceeded and summoned Mr. Caliste with a dismissal, summary dismissal, on May 2nd, 2024. 11 working days following that. In that dismissal letter, the college outlined that it conducted a thorough investigation and found Mr. Callis guilty as such. During our course of investigation from the TAMCC's lecturer's end, we found out that Mr. Callis' process for dismissal did not follow the established protocol by the college. The college has its employment policy. The employment policy that the college has is in agreement, it is guided by the Employment Act of Grenada. So the college has its procedures. For example, I will draw a reference. 7.06, summary dismissal as was admitted to Mr. Callis. It says the council has the right to dismiss summarily where the employee is guilty of a serious misconduct of such a nature that it would be unreasonable to require the council to continue the employment relationship. Further, the college had another procedure for which an employee who is accused of such. 7.3, the disciplinary procedure. An investigative committee established by the principal shall consider and determine matters that may require discipline. This committee shall investigate, gather findings, and report its findings to the principal. The principal may, after consultation with the chairman of the council, suspend the employee with pay until the investigation is conducted. That is part A of the procedure. Part B of the procedure. The investigative committee shall, after consideration with the principal, give the employee a written notification of the date, time, and place of meeting to present its findings to the employee. Such a meeting shall take place no later than 6 weeks from the date that the event that may lead to disciplinary action occurred. The employee shall be given an opportunity to be accompanied at the meeting in B by a colleague or an advisor to assist with the proceeding. None of these processes and protocols were followed by the college. Just a reminder, he was accused on April 16th and received a dismissal letter on May 10th that was dated Sunday, 2nd of May. The employment policy of the college, for argument goes on. For example, I'm going to draw reference to 7.4, the procedures for dismissal of a permanent employee. So they are the first course of action. They have another course of action that they should follow, and they did not follow. A, the employee shall be given notice that her dismissal is under consideration together with a statement of the charge alleged against him, her, and 2, the employee shall be given an opportunity to defend himself, herself, against such charge before a board of appeal appointed by the college council to hear and determine the charge. That was not done as well. There was no board established by the college. There was no investigation conducted by the college. What happened 11 days afterwards, Mr. Callis was given a dismissal letter and sent home. Mr. Callis has served the college for 25 years. 25 years of service, unwavering service to TAMCC. And he has left the institution with his 2 long hands empty, nothing, no benefits. Mr. Callis is not a well man. He has been struggling in the months leading up to his dismissal. He was hospitalized twice within the year prior to his dismissal. Right now, Mr. Callis' health is deteriorating. He's suffering. He's unable to meet his regular monthly commitment. And very soon, he will be at the verge of losing his home. This is a grave misjustice that occurred in TAMCC. And we are calling on the authorities to address this matter. Prior to us coming here, this matter, as I made a reference, occurred April 16, 2024. It's over a year now. And the union, together with the TAMCC's Lecturers Association, have been trying to address these issues around the table. We have written to Labor, unsuccessful. We have written to the Ministry of Education twice asking for an intervention, no success as well. Mr. Callis, at the time for which he received the letter, wrote to the college asking for compensation for his 25 years of service. The college delayed the response to Mr. Callis. By the time Mr. Callis received the response, the 90 days for which the matter could have been addressed by Labor had lapsed. Therefore, Labor informed Mr. Callis that they could not have done anything. The union still made an effort to engage Labor on this issue, and a similar response was received. The 90 days had lapsed, and there was nothing that Labor could have done in terms of intervening and addressing the matter. The union, again, reached out to the Ministry of Education so that some intervention can take place, since that the line minister has responsibility for TAMCC. He can make an intervention on this matter. And again, nothing was done from the ministry's end. Mr. Callis' health continues to deteriorate, and we're asking for assistance. We're asking the authorities to please step forward and assist us with this matter. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We did not do it before. We took up this matter, and whenever there is a grievance, we follow the proper procedure. So what the Grenada Union of Teachers has done together with the TLA is to write to the TAMCC. We wrote to the principal, we wrote to council. We did not get any response. And it is a grave disrespect in the sense, because that's the role of a union. Whenever you have a member, basically something has happened, especially you just fire a worker. We want to know. We want to know if what you did is right and just. So we did not approach the ministry, or we did not approach council or TAMCC saying that the dismissal wasn't fair, right, and just, or unjust. What we wrote, we want the evidence to show. We want to know that the process was followed, and we want to know what you did, because to dismiss or to get rid of somebody, you have to make sure that you have all the empirical evidences and everything that you do is right. So that's we were asking for. Give us the evidence, the steps that you follow, and if you have to dismiss somebody or you have to discipline somebody, there is some protocol or things in place that you're supposed to follow. So in this sense, we are always saying here from the Grenada Union of Teachers, over a year now that happened, we have been writing to TAMCC, writing to council, writing, and we did not get any response. And I think it's grave, grave disrespect. In other words, what they're saying is that we don't meddle about you. All right? We don't meddle about you. We do what we have to do already, and we're not going to respond. And it's unfair and unfortunate. So when we recognize that was happening, the final stage, as the Grenada Union of Teachers and the TLA, we said, well, let's go to the higher body. Let's write to the Minister for Education. So we wrote to the Minister for Education, and we did not get any response. When we saw that, we went back again. Remember, in all this time, we did not take any action and do anything. Nobody saw the Grenada Union of Teachers on the streets are making noise in TAMCC for that. We keep it very quiet and nice, trying to follow the proper protocol and procedure in doing things. So we exercise a lot of patience in this matter. So we thought, well, okay, if we're not hearing anything from TAMCC, let's go a little higher. Let's ask the Minister for Education to intervene in this matter to see. All we want to know, is it just and fair? Show us the evidence, the data, everything. And that's what we want to see. And nothing. So we wrote another letter to the Minister for Education, and we still, no response. So it means that right up to the chain is like
Everybody's saying they don't care. So this is where we are, and it's kind of hard and distasteful in the sense for somebody to work. I mean, put yourself in that person's position. Put yourself, any worker, high level, whether government or wherever, to work for 25 years. For 25 years with summary dismissal and nothing, no compensation. 25 years of dedicated service. And at the end now, you're losing your property, you're almost in verge of losing your home, you're struggling and such and that. So the tears when somebody cry, who he falling on? It's very sad. Very, very sad and difficult. And so we call in again and we brought it to the public domain and such because it seems as the only time traction and things happen is when you bring it to the public domain. So this one, probably, even if we write in the proper way, and the Minister for Education probably didn't get the letter, probably Council did not get the letter, probably the principal of TAMCC did not get the letters or the many letters, but if they can't read, I'm sure they could hear. So now we're speaking now publicly so that they would hear. Or somebody will tell them, if they don't see for themselves, that Mr. Callis is crying out for justice. All right? That the union is crying out for justice. The TLA is really and truly crying out for justice for Mr. Callis in the sense of with the summary dismissal, which was very, very harsh and such. And we want the authorities to go back and to review this case and such, and to show us the evidences and such as to whether or not the proper protocol and procedures were followed in dealing with Mr. Callis' matter, and if that is the right outcome for what has been done so unceremoniously and harshly done towards Mr. Callis. And I guess there are other persons in that situation, whether probably privately or publicly and such, so we must give it some attention. So, in addition to that, as we say, with TAMCC matters, so we said, in a nutshell, we calling on the authorities to pay the 5% for 2025, and we're really asking them to do it, quickly and such, so that thing could be settled, and to really and truly to honor the CBA that was really put in place, and such. It was nicely done by both sides, and it will be a plus to government, it will be a plus to TAMCC, to council, and everybody, leaving the table. I would have left the table because it was done already, and a happy mood, and let's celebrate Christmas. Before we end the press conference, the press conference was already today dealing with TAMCC matters. We're going to only talk quickly about two matters dealing with education, dealing with our teachers at the primary and secondary school level with the Ministry of Education. So I just want to say thanks to the Ministry of Education, the PSNED, the Grenada Union of Teachers. Brother Tommy Duncan and I was dealing with a matter there for the technical teachers, and it was a lot of work. Since 2008, those teachers were not upgraded. They never received any pay salary increases for that since 2008. And I want to put on record here my deepest appreciation to the government of Grenada, cabinet, who have approved the upgrade for these new teachers going back since 2008. So these teachers, they started to receive their new payments. They started receiving their new salary. They have retroactive payments to get, and it's a lot of money, and it will be honored. So cabinet has approved. The PS in the Ministry of Education, PSNED, and other persons, the Grenada Union of Teachers, would have done a lot of work in terms of ensuring that today, although the workers were sad for all these years, but today they are happy and they are rejoicing. So yes, while we give fires and such and those things, there are also things to celebrate. And we want to say thanks to the government of Grenada, thanks to cabinet, thanks to the Ministry of Education and the Grenada Union of Teachers, who have pushed and really pushed hard to ensure that these teachers, these 9 teachers, could celebrate today and such, and they were upgraded. So we say thank you. There is another matter dealing because Christmas time is coming around. And we see that there are quite a number of teachers since September who have not received their salary. All right? And we're going back in a recurring decimal again. Last year we had 390-something teachers. We took action. What we thought was 35 teachers in that situation this time around, when we did our proper research, it was almost 100 teachers. Those new teachers at the same time compare with teachers who won contract. And for all these months, we are aware now that some of these teachers start getting pay. Some got pay already. Some probably will still get paid. Yes, the persons in the Ministry of Education and personnel, they're trying. But I'm saying at this modern time, and I'm positively sure that the government will not be pleased with that. As I always say, the Prime Minister would never be pleased with that. To hearing for 3 months, we're going on just as the TLA, all right, and the workers at TAMCC, the lecturers, 2025, they did not get a 5% increase as yet. Everybody mad. It's not proper and it's not right at all. And the same way now with the teachers in the public school. From since September, some of them have not been paid. They just started getting their monies. Some get for this month, some get for that month, and some get for the other cousin or other case. And we said people are calling, the bank calling them, financial institution calling them. And I guess same thing with the lecturers at TAMCC for the monies. So we asking the Ministry of Education to really and truly to improve on this delayed payment and such like that. So while, most of us are poor families working on a monthly basis, all right, from pay to pay, month end to month end workers we have in Grenada. So you could imagine that young teachers or persons not getting paid for 3 months, going on 4 months, and they are to what? Begging. They are thinking there are days that somebody can't come to work, not because they don't want to come to work, but they don't have the money. And if they borrow money from September to December, by the time they get paid, they have to pay everything out, and they have nothing. That cannot be right. And yes, we did not take any action for that. We were watching with patiently dealing with that for a long time, quietly, but enough is enough. Landlord calling them teachers, the landlord and landlady calling and saying them teachers bad pay, them teachers this and that. And we have to tell them that is not true. It's because them teachers really and truly, honestly, were not paid. So how you workers could be going through this kind of humiliation and embarrassment and everything from financial institution, which giving our members a bad credit rating? So no institution will want to really and truly give you any loan if they can't guarantee when the time comes on a monthly basis that you cannot pay. And so it is not right to put the workers through that. We know that there are some persons in the ministry who try their best and they're trying, and such trying to pay to claims, through claims. So which means for that length of time, if they're paying through claims, it means that the teachers really and truly have not been, some of them, truly appointed as yet. There is a teacher from Westall Secondary, Mr. Mike Anuel, from since May working, and even some of the teachers got pay. Can you imagine how devastated Mr. Mike Anuel is at this time when he heard some of the teachers were paid, and some of them from September. He started working from since May, and he ain't get paid. Nothing. So he's crushed. He is devastated. And we've been calling, exercising patience with the ministry to really try to deal with that. So let's hope this week that most of the teachers get paid, and for the Christmas, all these things are settled, because we're in the Christmas season and such, and you have to pay workers. When you pay the lecturers, they 5%, not going back into the economy by the time you do that. Right about now, the lecturers looking and they're watching already to see the size of ham, and in other places, which one will buy this and which one. So it's not our money, it's that Grenadians and the money circulating right in the economy. When you pay the teachers and the workers on time and such, Christmas time, the money flowing back in the economy and such, the government will get the praise and such, the administration and everybody. So we're saying try your best to do what you're supposed to do, pay people on time, pay workers on time, honor your commitment, pay the 5% to the lecturers for 2025, honor the new collective bargaining agreement that we have and such, and let 2026 be a wonderful year. So we want to take the opportunity to wish Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit-Martinique, to wish our teachers, our lecturers, and the citizens of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit-Martinique all the best for a wonderful Christmas and God's blessing for a productive New Year 2026. May God bless us all.